Today, we're not just looking at a knockoff. We are going to experience the definition of madness. Yes, we seem to have something of a gift set here, using the Combiner roller molds, which those of us who were there for that and know what's going on there knows that even at that capacity, things got a little repetitive and messy. So why anybody would think to knock these off and make them even worse is a bit beyond me. Yes, before we get into the figures proper, we're going to take a look at the lovely English that they have provided us on this set. And yes, you'll see that a couple times there's some very interesting sentences. And you think Defensor when you think of God of War, don't you? And along the side here, we have the very peculiar version of the faction symbol. And some interesting notes that they put on, such as movable limbs on an action figure. If your action figure doesn't have movable limbs, you got bigger problems than you realize. And looking at the figures themselves at the back of the box, yes, we do see a silver bolt in red, which is a bold choice, along with 4 basic versions of the car formers, which were part of the problem as to why people thought they were repetitive. But it's this part right here that has me the most concerned. You'll notice that while on the stolen box art for Defensor, he has the hand-foot items. I'm not seeing these here. I have concerns. Alrighty, I've put this off long enough. Open up this bad boy and see what kind of madness we're getting ourselves into. Okay. Yep, no hand or foot weapons and no instructions. Wonderful. Alrighty, so what kind of accessories do we have here? Well, we have the Minotaur sword, along with a silver bolt / Superion's gun. I imagine those are now 1 piece instead of 2. But we do have some very nice versions of the single weapons, so chances are that'll be about the only part of this set that'll be staying here. So now, as for the carbide faces, yeah, they are extremely generic. It looks like they just kind of copied 2 versions of the head and just painted them different colors and used different paint to attempt to distinguish them apart. Alrighty, time for some ugly bit here. Let's see what happens when we actually get this stuff out of the case. Yeah, that's just 1 piece. So it's going to be the same with the sword here. Yeah. But I imagine with this sword, this probably works better as 1 piece, because that's less pieces to lose. Combiner head. God knows how that's supposed to work. Silver bolt's tail. Gun 1, gun 2, gun 3. Okay, nothing's come apart so far, but now we got to get to the figures. Nothing holding these figures in, except for the plastic itself, so they're easy to take out. Okay, good there. Hold together relatively well, so there's at least something of some competency on that point. Anyway, okay, we have everybody out of the box here, and as I expected, the plastic is fairly flimsy. Feels like if you sneeze on them wrong, they'll easily tip over. So how it's going to hold its own combined weight, if it is going to be interesting. But speaking of interesting, let's see if we can get some. Okay, so we hold the sword. Gun, not so much. You can hold the gun like a sword. Brilliant. Okay, and then the guns. So now, hold the guns rather flappily, and you can hold the sword, but you can't bend elbows because they don't exist. Sometimes I ask myself why I do this to myself, then I remember, so you don't have to. So you don't have to face the disappointment of the child who you give this to and see the look of utter disdain on their face when you realize the piece of garbage you have given them. Alrighty, let's see what we can do with vehicle modes, if that's going to be a thing at all. If for our boy Silverbolt, that's relatively easy. Just, yeah. Okay, that's about as good as we're probably going to get that. Plus, we'll already be in the beginning stages of combine mode, so we'll just roll with it. The Concord Sphinx. Okay. Try the cars now. Okay, so they do have the combiner ports, if that's of any consequence. That squeezed in. Are you kidding me? Okay, so it's just on the one leg. Okay, it can do it. It can do it. It was just a cheap plastic. Alright. Okay, pull the hands in, so they at least gotta get you that far. And there's a car mode. I'll skip ahead till I get the rest of them in car mode too. I'll note anything, if anything unfortunate happens. Okay, managed to get all four into car mode. In this stage I'll share the same mold there, and attempted to get Silverbolt into more of a playing mode here. But this thing was A, not cooperative, and B, just not going to let it happen. Primarily because of the engineering they didn't add in, these arms will not fold down. So you're kind of stuck with this. And remember, this also has to go into the torso for robot mode. Dear God. Alrighty, now for the main tragedy quotient. Getting all of this into combine mode. Now, to its credit, they did at least include the engineering to get the swivel the heads around, so you can actually get the combiner ports out. If that's whether or not that's worth a damn, well, we're about to find out here. Come on. You're cooperating? Okay. Okay, there we go. Yes. These things just sort of swivel outward here. Like that, to like that. Then you kind of have to finagle it in such a way as you can get a solid, at least try to get it as solid as possible. Okay. There's a leg, or a hand. I guess it doesn't really matter since this really isn't going to work. Okay, I'll get the other three going, then we'll get to Silverbolt and behold the nightmare. Okay, I got all these four in limb mode, for whatever that's worth, and I can already tell that this is going to be a disaster because it's missing some of the crucial joints in, along with those foot hand weapons. As bad as they were, they did at least work for holding up a combiner. We have none of that here. So we're in trouble. Speaking of trouble, let's get poor not Silverbolt into his torso mode, which he can at least do. Now, as a substitute for actually having the proper engineering for the combiner head, they just put on a peg and port here. So this thing just floats about. Like so. Creepy. Okay, anyway, let's see. Can these actually slide into? Amazingly, yes. They can actually slide into these ports. Nothing else might be happening, but it can do it. Okay. Huh. Oh my god. Okay, so I did the old extend out the single robot limbs, which gave him something resembling feet, but no. No feet, no hands. Can't hold together. Can't move. Can't hold the weapons. Can't do anything that a combiner can on an official level. Including keep my patience, because while this all came together, I want to hit it with a rock. But instead this will end up in the recycling bin. And even then I don't know what will happen then. Yeah, you can't even move the limbs. The torso doesn't stay together. Yeah, you see this thing in any way, shape, or form, regardless of the packaging, do not buy it. Because about the only thing of value that this set has are these guns and this sword. Everything else, no. Anyway, we'll be concluding KOtober with something that hopefully has, well, the company shown itself to have some form of competency, so it has to be better than this, right?